Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to day 2 of our Art and Mindset Challenge. If anyone's watching live, then please do say hello. Let me just double check that I am actually live and hopefully you can hear me. Say good morning if you are watching. It's always nice to interact with people and not feel like I'm talking to myself in my conservatory. I hope you're having a good Friday so far. A bit drizzly here today, but it's quite cozy in the house, so not all bad. So today we're going to be talking about colour theory basics. Now, this might be something that you think you possibly know or you've heard before. So I do think it's something a really good idea to keep looking into it and finding out more things about it, because we're constantly learning. I mean, I feel like I've heard it before, but it doesn't necessarily land, or it doesn't necessarily make sense in the piece that you're working on. So how can we really use colour theory to our advantage and enhance our drawings or our paintings by using some of the kind of basic rules when it comes to colour, and but maybe you've never even touched on it. Maybe you don't really, you've never really heard of it. Obviously you know about colours and you probably know about the primary colours, but how can that relate to your artwork? So what I would say is that I would get yourself one of these. Oh, got my piece of paper. I definitely get yourself one of these. This is well worn and falling apart, but it's really helpful in your artwork. So it's got two sides, and the first side is really talking about the primary colours, but the great thing is it's got these little windows so that you can turn it to suit whatever it is you're doing. So it's got, on the back it's more, on the back it's more about the primary colours. So you've got red, yellow and blue in the 3 points of the triangle. And then you've got something called your triad of colours, and that can be any of them really. It doesn't have to be the top ones. Then you've got your split complementaries, your complementary, and you might have heard that term. Complementary colour just means the opposite on the colour wheel. And why is that important? Well, if we are creating realistic shadows in our work, in paint and in pencil, then a lot of people tend to just go for the blacks or the greys or the browns, and they can look a little bit fake. They can look too harsh maybe, or they just look like the format that we're using or the material that we're using. They look like kind of scribbly pencil lines. So if, for example, you've got a reddy orangey cat or horse or something, and you're trying to work into the shadows, try using the complementary colour. So on the orange, it's kind of like the reddy orange, it's kind of like greens, well, red, the opposite would be green. So if you put just a touch, don't go too hard, don't do the whole shadow in green, but if you just put a touch of green in the shadow, it creates this lovely natural looking shadow. Same with oranges. I tend to go towards the kind of blues. If you've got something green, you can put a purple shadow in. Just give it a go. It's all about experimentation. It's all about what kind of works. So that's the way that I use the colour wheel. We can also see how mixing colours works. We've got things called tones and hues. It's all about how you mix the colours together. And so this is really, really helpful. I would definitely recommend it. It goes all the way around through the colour wheel. It talks all about the primary colours, secondary colours, tertiary colours, aggressive, which is warm, and receding, which is cool, and how they work together. You've got the hue, which is just another name for colour. You've got tint, which is the colour plus white. You've got the tone, which is the colour plus grey. So it's not as difficult as it sounds. And the shade, which is the colour plus black. So it's just about how we can mix. So if you're painting as well, this can be really helpful, because it can show you how to, by adding blue, what will happen to this green colour. By adding yellow, what will happen to the green colour. Let me see if I can. So if you add blue, it will do that kind of colour. If you add yellow, it will make that kind of lighter green colour. If you add white, what will happen to it? It will take it down. And if you add black, it will darken it there. So it's just really helpful. They're only a couple of quid, maybe on Amazon or any local art shop, and they're really, really helpful. So I definitely invest in one of those for the colour wheel. We all know that if we mix blue and yellow that we get green, but then there's so much more to look at in there. And the way that I really use it is the complementary colours. The other thing I wanted to talk about in relation to colours is colour psychology. You know, how do colours make us feel? Why are they important? What draws people to a painting or a drawing if you've got a certain background colour? Now, a lot of the time we've heard that greens are quite calming because it kind of mirrors nature, and blue can be quite calming as well, but it can be quite cool. But there are lots of different things in between as well. So I've written a few out. Warm colours tend to be the reds, oranges and yellows, which you probably know. The cool colours are the greens, blues and purples, which you probably know. But warm colours signify comfort, warmth, and any warmth against hostility or anger. And blues and greens and purples, they offer calmness. But what about the other colours in between? So purple is all about creativity. So if you're drawn to the colour, a certain colour, it might say a lot about your personality or your mood, how you're feeling in that moment. So blue is connected with creativity. Green is very calming, and so is blue, considered restful. So that's why a lot of people are drawn to that colour in their bedroom. Blue, calming and serene. Decrease respiration, lower blood pressure, so it can help you relax. Yellow stimulates, so it reflects more light, and therefore people are drawn to yellow. So you might feel that yellow is quite a happy colour or joyful colour. You're drawn to it, a little bit like a flame of a candle. White is purity and innocence, cleanliness, sense of space. So that's why it kind of brightens up an area if you give it a fresh lick of paint. On the woodwork, it always looks clean and fresh, which is quite nice. Black is about authority and power and strength. You see a lot of black robes and, oh, it's done that thumbs up thing. A lot of black robes. Uniforms tend to be quite black or dark blue. Grey, neutral. It's timeless and it's practical. Do you remember that craze where everybody painted everything grey? And I definitely am the same. I'm starting to get a little bit fed up with it, and I want to experiment with more colour. But grey is very neutral and it's timeless, and it does look really clean against a white. So you can see why people were drawn to it. Red is all about love and romance. So lots of energy, blood, life in that way, energy and excitement. And it's really interesting why a lot of big companies use red as their colour. You know, Virgin, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, you know, all of these big brands have got red because it's kind of, you're drawn to it. It's that warmth, it's got that energy, and it's really great for advertising. Orange, happy, energetic, excitement, enthusiasm, warmth, wealth and prosperity, sophistication and change. Yellow, yeah, again, happiness and laughter. Brown, reliability and stability, friendship, warmth, comfort, natural and organic, so kind of thinking of soils and things like that. And pink is all about romance and love and gentle. So how can we use those colours in our artwork and create a sense of whatever mood that you want to have the viewer feel when you're creating a piece of artwork? So it's not all about saying to someone, you know, here's a piece I've drawn or I've painted, what do you think? There you go. It's all about creating a story around the piece. You know, what were you thinking about when you were drawing or painting it? What were you thinking about when you're creating it? And even if you're not going to be selling it, how is it making you feel? What kind of moods come up, and do you want to counter those moods? So if you're feeling a little bit highly strung or a little bit anxious, then maybe greens and blues would be a really good way to help calm you down in that moment. So what can you get from it as well? You're going to be drawn to it as well, and it's really important that we think about how these things affect us, because they really do. It's all subconscious. It's all kind of in the peripheral. We always know that these things are affecting us, but maybe paying more attention to them, and how can we use them to our advantage as well. So think about how you can use complementary colours in your shadowing as a really good tip and test. So maybe that could be your homework for today. Have a little go at using the complementary colours, so the opposites on the colour wheel, to see how that creates a lovely natural looking shadow, but use it sparingly. Don't go full in and burnish everything with that colour and knock everything back. So how can we use it in our artwork? Let me know if you do that, because I found it really helpful, not just using the greys and blacks, which you think you should. Even if it does look really grey, I put a light layer of green or purple on top, and it really does make a difference. And the same can be applied if you're working on the fur or skin tones. It's lots of different colours that make up that. It's not just one colour. And I think that's when things can look a little bit flat. When we just use one colour, we just see something as pink or blue or purple. There are lots of different colours that make it up. So can we add some warmth, or do we need cool tones? A lot of people ask me, how do you know the difference between warm and cool, especially when it comes to Faber-Castell pencils? What I would say is, if you can see browns and kind of browns in the grey, yellows and browns in the grey, then it's warm. And if you can see like a blue, like if you get a Labrador and the light shining on it, you tend to see quite a lot of blues reflected in the shine of the fur, then that's when you use cool. But it doesn't mean you need to choose one. They work brilliantly together as well. So knowing when to use the warm and the cool, when you're looking for the browns and the yellows, use the warm. You're looking for the cools, use the blues and the purples. I really hope that helps. Let me know if you have any suggestions for colour theory or colour psychology, and how you use it to your advantage, or to the viewer that's looking at your work. How do you want them to feel? How do you want to make them feel? And put that in the comments below. And give it a go with the shadows, and let me know if you do and whether it really helps. What's on day 3? What are we going to be doing on day 3? Let me just find out. Day 3, which is going to be Monday, I'm going to be talking about perspective and values. So again, if you find that your work is looking a little bit flat, then that will really be helpful for that. And I'm not going to be going live over the weekend. I'm going to be taking a little break, but I will look forward to seeing you back on Monday, where we're going to be continuing our tips on art and mindset, or mindset, usually a combination of both, like today and yesterday. Have a lovely weekend. I hope the sun comes out. Have a lovely rest of the day, Friday, and I really look forward to seeing you on Monday. Lots of love. Bye for now.